ways to fight off the flu and to dispel some myths around it. Please welcome ER physician Dr. Adrian Heller.
How you doing?
I'm very good. I'm happy we're talking about this. We get flu shots every year in my house. But let's start by just talking about what the flu is, because I think a lot of people have a different definition and there might be some gray area there. Is it the same as getting a cold?
So it's not the same as getting a cold.
Right.
It's something that I learned, I remember in medical school, this blew my mind. The flu is short for influenza.
Right.
So the cold is just, you get a little stuffy, you get a sore throat, not that big of a deal. The flu is way more than that. The flu is miserable. On top of those symptoms, you also get, body aches, you get a headache, you can get a fever for up to a week, and that's when it doesn't kind of turn into anything complicated. So yeah, it's a miserable time.
And is it a respiratory issue?
So it can be all over. Often you do primarily have respiratory issues.
Right.
But it kind of can feel, you get the symptoms through your whole body.
Okay, you got it. So you're feeling it all over the place. How does the flu shot work? Because I find that even though we get it, we don't really question it. A few people do, like a lot of people do. There are some myths around it. So how does it work? What is it doing?
So it triggers an immune response in your body.
Okay.
Basically. So it can't actually get you sick. It's a version of the virus that can't do that.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about that. But it triggers it so that if you were to get the flu, your body can actually deal with it.
Okay.
Now the virus actually changes each year, so the scientists kind of have to guess which specific strain to go with. So that's kind of where things get a little bit tricky, but they basically predict what they think is going to be the most common strain each year.
Okay, and how close to we are getting the prediction right? How close are doctors to getting the prediction right?
So the good news is it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So usually they get
then.
Usually they get some of it, but then it's showing that by getting your flu shot year after year, you actually build up this protection against getting the most severe version of the flu.
Okay.
So really, I mean, when you hear the flu shot doesn't work this year, it does work.
Okay.
I mean, otherwise I think I'm wasting my time going to get the flu shot every year.
Right?
But it's the whole point of it. That's why we do it.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, getting it year after year just helps kind of overall and that year.
So it's not going to make you sick.
No.
What is the big deal if I just don't get the flu shot?
So this is, I think, the main idea that we should talk about, because this is the most important thing that I can say, is that the flu shot's for you, but it's even more so for helping other people. Right. So the flu shot protects you against getting sick, but then even more so when the elderly get it, or when young people get the flu, like young children, they can actually end up in the intensive care unit, and every year we actually see a number of deaths from the flu. So it's very important to protect against that. Even if you're a healthy person and you get the flu, there's a chance of it getting so severe that you're getting hospitalized and having complications of it.
Right.
So by getting the flu shot, what you're doing is preventing yourself from getting the flu, and then you're preventing yourself from giving it to the elderly and to young people who really do need that protection, because they can get so sick from it. So it's this awesome way that you can do something to help yourself while also preventing others from getting sick and helping them so much.
So my daughter was taken out by the flu, which is the reason why we started getting the flu shot after that. It was 11 straight days.
Yeah.
And muscle pain to the point where we had to take her to the hospital. And so I was like, what is this thing? My kid can't walk.
Definitely not a cold, right?
Right?
Yeah.
And they were saying, as I'm wheeling her in a wheelchair in, Sick Children's Hospital, they're like, believe it or not, it's the flu.
Yeah.
Like she can walk, she doesn't want to because it hurts.
Yeah.
And so, she was shipped off to Grandma and Grandpa's, and I had to call her once a day like she was in jail. Can I please speak to Eva? She's sleeping right now. Call back. But it was awful. So that's why we started getting it. So you've kind of covered who should and who shouldn't get the flu shot, but outside of the elderly and kids, everyone in between. Yeah,
really, if you're over 6 months old, you should be getting a flu shot. So send your 7-month-old down to the corner to get his to the pharmacy to get his flu shot done.
Bye, baby.
That's your limit. So often people say, well, I have a bit of a cold. Can I get the flu shot? As long as you're not particularly sick, you're fine to get it. Even if you have, a pregnancy that's ongoing, or you have other medical issues that are quite severe, you're still safe to get the flu shot.
Okay.
So over 6 months, you're getting the flu shot.
Do you ever go to the emergency department with the flu?
So there's not much that we can do for you in the emerge, unless you have complications of kind of what's going on. So if you're feeling short of breath or particularly bad for whatever reason, we're happy to see and make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
But really, what you need is rest.
Yes.
Now, if you're over 65 or if you're have other significant medical issues,
Yeah.
we're always happy to evaluate how things are going. But realistically, you can also just see a walk-in clinic or your family doctor
Yeah.
to see if maybe the antiviral is helpful within the first 48 hours of your symptoms.
Okay. Yes, we were sent home with the kid that couldn't
Yeah.
walk because they were like, this seems crazy, but you just have to go home and she has to rest.
Yeah.
Let's talk about antibiotics.
Yeah, so probably the most common reason that I have people come into the emergency room is to say, hey, do I need antibiotics?
Right.
So antibiotics are for bacteria,
Yes.
and the flu is a virus. Two totally different things, so antibiotics do not help.
Got it.
And this antiviral, so that against the virus medication, really even that questionable whether it works particularly well. So if you're within the first 48 hours, you can see a doctor,
Yeah.
probably walk-in clinic or family doctor.
Okay.
But we usually don't have to see in the emergency room unless you have other medical issues or you're sort of older or younger.
Okay, good stuff. So, you know what, let's just talk about how easy it is. I'm going to get a flu shot right now. Let's do it, okay? He is a pharmacist, and actually he's given me a flu shot before. Now, while this shot is being done in the studio, flu shots by pharmacists under the Ontario Flu Program must be done in the pharmacy. We're doing something special because, you know, it's TV. Where and how flu shots are administered, as well as who is eligible to receive the shot, is going to vary from province to province, so you really have to check what the rules are in your province. Did you just give me the flu shot and I didn't even notice?
That's right.
Didn't feel a thing, everybody. Didn't feel a thing. Now I'm feeling good about this flu season, and of course I'm going to have to take my kids to get theirs as well. But thank you very much for that.
Welcome.